Hello and welcome to the panel, where we take a look at graphic novels and talk about their story, art, and everything in between. On this episode, we're discussing the comic Thanos Wins. We all know how things went down with Thanos when he won Infinity War, but does it go the same way in the comics? Well, we're about to find out. So, joining me today, I have from DST Unboxed and Previews World Toy Chest, Natasha, aka Cannon Doll X.
Hi, everybody. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. And I love the backdrop, looking pro.
I'm actually on set. I was shooting a DST Unboxed today. So
nice. Ooh, everyone needs to check that out.
thanks.
And our special guests today are Eli Schwab of Comic Lion Productions, as well as Manus Dunbar, rapper and host of the Can I Thwip It podcast.
What's up? How's it going?
How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good. I'm really excited for this. Like, we've already kind of talking about things before the show started, so this is going to be such a fun conversation. I'm really excited, and I'm ready to dig into your thoughts on Thanos War. So let me start with telling viewers just a quick rundown of the premise. So, ask Marvel's most powerful beings how they feel the world would end, and they'll answer with two words: Thanos wins. And now that disturbing thought becomes a reality. Thanos journeys to the end of time and his moment of complete victory, and it still isn't enough. Witness Thanos' greatest glory and ultimate shame, featuring the Silver Surfer and introducing the Cosmic Ghost Rider. So, I want to go get initial thoughts from y'all. For me, I just know the Marvel movies. I'm ashamed to say that. I haven't read the comics. So, when we were talking before and y'all were saying things, I was like, oh, that makes so much more sense now. So, I was really excited to get into this because it was like, I really want to know what actually happened. So what about y'all? Let's start with Natasha. What did you think going into this?
So I didn't know. I didn't know what I was getting into, but once I started, I could not stop. I even stole my 10-year-old's night reading light thing. So after I put my baby to bed, I was in my bed frantically reading the rest of it because I wanted to know what happened, and every page was a new surprise, a new laughter, which you wouldn't think was coming out of a Thanos book, but it was funny to me. People in it, it was just a surprise. It overall was just a big surprise. I was not expecting who was going to be in it. The people that show up in it, certainly who is those certain people, and then things that happen. It was a really it was a ride, and I enjoyed it.
Definitely was a ride. What about you guys? What did you think going into this?
Man, we were so psyched because we both do the Can I Thwip It podcast. And so back when these were coming out, we were following right along. We were hot on the Donny Cates trail.
Issues.
Yeah, we were hitting the singy issues. And I'm a huge Silver Surfer fan. And I was like hot on the like Thanos solo stuff. So we were deep into it, and we read we're fairly versed in the Infinity Gauntlet stuff, and so we were just psyched to see like this new take. I mean, I'm speaking for you.
This book came out before Infinity War had completed too. This was like 2016 or something, right? Yeah, 2016. So it was cool to show Thanos in this like glorious, victorious moment, depending on how you look at it. But to then compare to like what happens in Infinity Gauntlet, which is what they really took to build the story that ended that 10 years of Marvel movies.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then to see all the new characters and to introduce like the Silver Surfer Black, which when they later delved even deeper into, and oh God, Cosmic Ghost Rider.
That was such a delight.
Oh,
I'm a huge Frank Castle person. I like have the Punisher on me and everything. Like love him. And like, Ghost Rider, the way they had his dialogue and everything, I know we've mentioned this before. I thought it was Wade Wilson at first, like the snarkiness, the smart eye stuff, like, the attitude overall, and then the come out that it's Frank Castle and that he's gone insane. And that's why he sounds like this. And he's, so twisted and dark and cynical and funny all at the same time. I was utterly surprised in the best way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, this is going to be great. I'm so excited. All right, let's go ahead and start getting into this, and because I just can't wait. So let's go ahead and start deep diving into the story. Donny Cates is a well-known American comic book writer, artist, and podcaster, known for his work on Marvel titles like Venom, Thanos, Doctor Strange, Thor, and Hulk. But outside of Marvel, he's also worked for every major publisher, including his work with Image Comics, with Redneck, Crossover, and Vanish. So I got to start off. What did y'all think of the story? Because this is, for me, coming from someone who's only seen the movies, it's completely different. And, and hearing that this actually came out before, I'm just like even more intrigued. So what did you guys think of this story coming from like your background in knowing this series?
I mean, I was super psyched because it was kind of like one of those what if, or like, I like Elseworld stories and stuff too, where they take these characters that, and they kind of flip them and then do something different, multiverse side, skewed into its own reality. And like, I was super psyched.
But also I feel everybody knows who's read a lot of these stories and is familiar with the character of Thanos, knows like he's one of the more supreme things to try to face if there's ever a problem. So to have like a story arc that's like, what if he really did win? Because the heroes they always figure it out. Whoever's writing it, the heroes almost always figure out
not this time
how to stop whatever wild cosmic event is going on. So to see like, oh, he did win, you know what I mean? Not to cook too far along the end of this story, but it's like to see what he actually ends up facing is pretty heavy. Yeah. And then like the way it all culminates at the end of Thanos wins particularly, it was like, wow. Yeah. It's like, you gotta beat. Who do you have to beat after everybody's been beat?
Yeah, I think going into this, we're just a disclaimer. There are going to be tons of spoilers in this, but there's no way to talk about it without, because it's just you're going to have the whole story.
You had like 8 years to read it too.
Yeah,
exactly. There you go.
And it's in the title, basically.
Yeah.
It wins.
And what about you, Natasha? What did you think of the story outside of just the fact that your Love the Punisher was in there?
I love the layers of this. I love, you're going into it and you're seeing that, of course, darkness of Thanos and how he does not give two pennies about anybody. And then how it just culminates to eventually seeing, again, spoilers, old him and the struggles he's had over eons and eons, and the fact that his only way to problem solve is to use himself, but then all of the, I love how it's written of all these, backstories are in there, all these, characters that are popping up and how their involvement in it, and how still at the end of the day, yeah, Thanos wins, but did he at the same time? Like, because it seems like he's kind of struggling there, old man. So, I really like it's a really good story.
Yeah, it really goes beyond that whole like, okay, I've beaten everyone and now I'm the only person alive. I feel like we already kind of know that story, but then it like it goes deeper into that,
Yes,
which is kind of crazy.
Exactly.
And then the characters that they start bringing in are insane, because I mean, he basically has to beat everyone, right? So it's like he's beaten everyone, literally everyone. And I wish we got to see more of those battles, because I would want to see, like, who would you want to see, like, the epic Thanos battle? Of course, that person's gonna lose, but like, who would be,
spoilers.
Your ultimate, like, I want to see this happen and how long they last, essentially.
And the Galactus battle is insane.
Yeah,
I love the moment where he shanks Black Ball and he screams to blast all those Celestials. Just this panel, like you gotta shout out Jeff Shaw too, man. Jeff Shaw, he's incredible. Like, this art for this story arc is like, what? Like, look at that,
It's so good.
Smoked him.
Yeah, I feel like Thanos. I was not Galactus. I wasn't expecting him to like go out Leroy Jenkins style. Like,
he was definitely feeling himself.
Yeah, it's like, he's supposed to do this. Yeah, and then he just runs in there, and it's just kind of like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
And what Thanos does
help me. Oh, just
like the remains of Galactus too. I won't.
Yeah, right.
Insane.
Right. Yeah.
So sick. Donnie Cates really excels at this kind of like out of this world, taking it to the farthest reaches storytelling.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
I feel what's heavy about this story too is, if you remember, like the Venom, the absolute carnage stuff, like there's elements of that eventually touch this story too.
True.
So it's wild to see a writer like himself really give all these different characters like a connection, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's exciting to see like all of it brought together. It's kind of like seeing this huge mashup. Natasha, who would you have want to see Thanos
we didn't even
destroy?
Oof. I don't know. Because in this story, like I'm a huge Norrin Rad fan too. And so like the fact that he shows up and then it doesn't go well, obviously, again, spoilers. That would have been somebody I would have chosen had I not read this story. Because I love the Silver Surfer. I love his story. I love, his arcs. I love all of it. And like to have him finally be worthy of Mjolnir was I was like, what is happening in this book? This is amazing. And then it doesn't go great. And I was like, oh yeah, it's called Thanos Wins.
Great, like, way to end
that. Yeah.
The only thing that would have made it better is they recently had a Silver Surfer story where they got like this multiversal team of Silver Surfers, where it was like you could tell it was like a Kirby Mobius. And if they brought like a multiversal team of surfers to come battle this Thanos, that's like the only thing that would have made it better.
That would have been awesome. Yeah.
Oof.
See, I think we need like alternate theory universe, like comics spun out from this.
What about Null versus
cracked up?
Thanos? That could have been cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
The giant, the Dark Saber or whatever.
Saber.
Yeah.
Is it Dark Saber?
I don't think so.
No,
I think
that's
it's
Star
called
Wars.
something else.
Something close.
Yeah. We'll call it the Dark Saber.
Blade of Celestial's blood.
Yeah.
Now, going on to the characters, we had this whole completely different Ghost Rider. And like Natasha was saying, he becomes very comedic, and almost, I will say, almost like Ryan Reynolds. So my question to y'all is, who would you fan cast as Ghost Rider? But this one, and it can't be Ryan Reynolds. Like, that's the one rule.
Well, I'm done. Bye.
I know you guys had some interesting theories earlier.
Yeah, I was thinking, you got to get someone who's like mouthy and really like got a gravelly voice, looks good in a beard. I was thinking Jason Mantzoukas would be a good person. He's so funny. He's
Oh my God.
absolutely.
He's so
Like
funny.
he's got that voice, he's got the wit, and I just think he'd be a killer.
And there's been so many actors, well, 3 or 4 actors that have played Punisher already.
Yeah, Dolph Lundgren back with the beard.
If they, or what's John, the guy who's in Daredevil, did the Daredevil Punisher.
Barenthal,
that guy.
Yeah.
Think of him maybe being a little funnier than serious.
Yeah.
Perhaps he could play the role. Yeah. But, it's going to be so much CGI. It's just like, whose voice do you want to use for it?
Yeah, that's fair.
We only see him at the very end. Or
what a great character design, too, the way the Cosmic Rider specifically looks. And then also in the book, how we see the Ghost Rider he becomes to then be – that looks so cool.
Yeah.
And when he gets the little helmet that comes on over his, flame skull, too, super tight.
Yeah, he just keeps coming up with all these different regenerations of himself.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah. Look at that right there.
So insane.
Look at that Gatling gun. A couple of them on that bike, dude.
Yeah, with the Punisher skull on the chest. Oh my God,
super tight.
Fire, literally,
literal fire. Yes.
Just thinking, if it's just his voice, what about Jason Bateman?
Oh, that could be good.
That could be good.
He's got that acerbic wit.
He's got some of that kind of monotone humor too. Sometimes that can sound very cynical.
Yeah,
that'd be fun. I feel like I've never even seen him in any. Do a bunch of action, his voice connected to doing a bunch of action stuff. It's always pretty funny.
Yeah.
I think that would be fire. Yeah, it's a great choice.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many options. There really are.
Yeah.
But I think the hardest one would be, who would you cast as Thanos?
Oof. And we can't.
No Josh Brolin. We can't go. We gotta completely.
He did such a good job.
I have to say, the first part of reading this book, all I heard in my head was Thanos, Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
And I loved that. I'm a huge Josh Brolin fan. So hearing his voice while I'm reading the text was really cool.
My first thought was Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh yeah.
Is it just because that looks like the beer cans that he smashed?
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, too, is a good size to play old Thanos.
Old Thanos. Yeah.
Think about it we'll say Josh is the young Thanos still, right? Yeah. We can kind of sneak him in there like that. But then a bigger, stronger, more ground down.
Yeah.
Warren Thanos. It's I am the main.
I love that idea. Yeah. Come here, you jabroni.
Yeah, exactly. Did you just say jabroni?
Could work it in.
That'd be such a switch up from Maui to Thanos.
Yeah.
Such an opposite spectrum.
He's a good actor, though. He could pull off that gruffness,
Yeah. Love it.
Think about Black Adam when he played Black Adam.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Bringing a little of that to it. Similar, that character has similar beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Nihilistic.
True. Yeah.
But
I think
for the greater good, destroy half of it.
Oh yeah. I feel like my easiest casting though was Death. Did anyone else have y'all seen Dogma? Did anyone else get a Alanis Morissette?
Actually
Dogma?
did.
100%.
I think that's a straight rip from that.
Totally.
I was waiting for her to boop him.
Right? Yeah.
Because Alanis Morissette is God in that.
Yeah.
Too, right?
Yeah.
In the movie.
Yeah.
The only
see, they
better
really
would be I'm blanking on her name. God, she's from Beetlejuice and Stranger Things now, and
Winona Ryder.
Winona, yeah.
Oh, that would be a really good one.
Or Selma Hayek.
Oh man,
it's just my preference.
She's amazing.
Oh, yeah. Amazing.
Yeah,
that's so sick.
I mean, should we? This is the end of the. That's the end of the book almost right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
Did anyone read the words?
That was something I enjoyed, how the book was laid out too. I mean, it's all the issues put together was just how they started and finished each section. You almost felt oh, is that over? Nope. No, let's check into this story. Let's go into here. Let's go into this backstory. Let's find out more about this. And I really enjoyed how they went and renamed the Ghost Rider each time he had a new alliance. and
yeah.
like it was like a whole new start. Like I really liked
Yeah,
that.
Herald of
So,
Galactus to
yeah,
the black hand, the right hand,
the right hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really enjoyed how they did that.
the rider.
Oh,
That also made it feel comical to me.
yeah, definitely. That would be like those titles popping up on the screen in like a movie where it's like,
Yeah.
you know, making little jokes about where they are and what's happening.
Mhm.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
This
Yeah.
story is very much the Cosmic Ghost Rider's origin story too. So
Yeah.
they definitely needed to give him a handful of pages in one of these issues to
Oh, yeah.
explain how it happened. And this book is like laid out really nice. That is a special thing when someone can panel out the book really nice, and that's why you get that nice flow like that. You know.
Yeah.
The whole Thanos
Splashes and
series was
stuff.
really well done. A lot of really cool, like duotone or like these, you know, the Kirby Crackle, but with like Ben-Day dot stuff, and they did some really cool stuff in the whole Thanos series. I'd say pick it up, order it from your previews catalog.
Now, my big thing that I noticed is a lot of like, you know, telling about the villain's story is they always try to like kind of show this like humanizing aspect to them, like something where you're like, oh, I get it. That's why they are the way that they are. Like, what do you think of like Thanos? Because I feel like, was there a redeeming quality that he had, or was just he like evil from the minute he showed up as like a little prune baby, you know?
Something turned him like that. Something in this story, like how he got to Thanos wins, something jaded him and made him a certain way. Like if you do view Thanos from the movie aspect, he doesn't seem as evil. He seems like trauma is what's made him do that. You know, seeing people suffer is what made him realize, oh, this is an absolute part of life. Whereas in the comic book, Thanos feels a little more evil. You know, he's like doing it for death. He's killing everybody for her. You know.
Yeah.
That's been his point since Gauntlet, since we knew of this character, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that how they did him like that for the MCU, a little differently from what he really is in the comic, was a cool thing to make people sympathize with him more and ultimately like give that character a bunch of new fans. So you can sympathize with the villain, like I'm doing something wrong, but like it ultimately leads to a good thing. You kind of can see the right in what they're doing. I can't speak for everyone, but you know,
it shows that like his birth drove his mother insane,
right?
Which initially like put death in his, you know, it shows it right in his eye right there in that panel. And so it's like his birth drove his mother mad. She gave him this one name, but then realized he was like the Mad Titan and then changed his name. And then that's how they like, you know,
Thanos Rising deals with this moment too. Yeah. The story arc Thanos Rising, it shows his birth over a couple issues and just his growing up and some heinous things he did as a time.
And there's another one where Cosmic Ghost Rider goes and gets baby Thanos,
right?
And they have
that's the Cosmic Ghost Rider story arc. Yeah.
Oh, see, okay, I'm learning.
Spoilers.
No, there's so much to this story, and I feel like, you know, what is nice about this is it is kind of like you can go into it without knowing anything other than, you know, the Marvel movie basics, and it completely comes out as a complete story, and there's not a moment where I was like, who the heck is this person? Which is really great, because sometimes going into like Marvel stuff, it's just so intimidating. So for those that want to start this series, a story, like where would you say, like, go ahead and pick up the start of this? Because there's so many, like you said, different spin-offs.
I think that Thanos Rising is a good story. Annihilation's a good story. Read Infinity Gauntlet. You could probably get an epic collection of Thanos that would give you a good piece of his beginning history so that you can invest yourself in this character like that. You know, I think for a lot of like comic book readers, that's what it is. When you finally find your character, you learn everything about them. You get their first appearance. You do all that stuff. So like, you know, he's a little pricey to get all those things now. But if you just want to really be up on and know about this character, go grab an epic collection. And then, from there, it'll kind of show you where to keep going, you know?
Definitely.
There's definitely a Thanos epic collection or essential collection to buy to learn that stuff if you'd like to know further. For further questions, go here.
Just over here taking notes, just taking notes. Okay, but we can't keep talking about the story without adding in the art, because the art honestly is just amazing, and it's like
So
y'all were
good.
saying. So let's start adding in some of the art here. So Jeff Shaw is a classically trained artist who studied and got his MFA at Savannah College of Art and Design, and his comic works include Pacific Rim and A Town Called Dragon from Legendary, as well as Buzzkill and the Paybacks from Dark Horse. And his most frequent collaborator actually is Donny Cates, and together they are responsible for the smash hits God Country and, of course, Thanos Wins. All right, so I love that they team up so often, because you can tell that like they get each other.
Yes.
What are your thoughts in general for the art for this comic? Like, do you think it fits the story? What do y'all think? Let me start with, I'm gonna pick on Natasha.
So I love the art in this. I feel like it really brings out the story. Like you mentioned earlier about like the little detail of showing death in the eye of Thanos is really cool. Those little things, and then just the dynamicness of like, look at that. I know I'm picking the Punisher again. Sue me. But like, just it's so dynamic, and there's so many little details and layers. Like this other scene with Galactus and the world, like all of it. It's just so like you want to know more. You want to keep reading the story because of these panels. I feel like I really liked it's beautiful work, so detailed.
What about y'all?
Yeah, totally. Like you were saying, like when an artist and writer have worked together and continue to work together, and especially working together on like an indie book and then coming up, and perhaps it's like, oh my God, this is something we've been talking about forever, or we had these ideas and, we were, just fantasizing about this over beers. They were like super psyched. You can tell the excitement that's in here, the like splash pages, the pages that are like all these different characters together and Thanos just murking them all. Like you can feel the excitement, and that's why this book is like so exciting and so dynamic and such a quick, easy read, because everything works together. It sets off the siren of the mind that really like gets it going. I don't know. Can you hear that, or is that just
Yeah.
that's the mind sirens of art that
My mind is totally in tune to that siren.
it's crazy, right? Oh my God. That's the sirens of Thanos. Anyway, I just think it's like all these different things. Like this one, he's in the mouth. Like there's so many different ideas perfectly executed by this team. I mean, I couldn't rave more about the symbiosis of these two creators.
Yeah, I mean, bottom line, just the fact that how they lay out the action sequences.
Yeah.
Into like the waiting for the, and they just every last page to go to the next thing is like, oh, let me just turn this page here so I can continue to read this story.
Right.
And then it starts with, like when Natasha was showing us, boom.
Yeah.
This one really keeps you sucked in with how good this art is. This guy's
I'm literally flipping through it nonstop while we're talking because
Same.
Yeah, no, my favorite is that one that Johnny keeps showing. Sorry, I have my green screen thing, so hard to tell. And I'm so upset because it's the trade paperback version, so you get like this wonky version of Thanos.
I got the same thing happen. I was like, his head is so weird.
Because this is such a great like moment, and there's so much to it. Yeah.
So awesome. Look at
Silver
that.
Surfer Black is such an insane
such
design.
a cool character, yeah.
And then once you read that,
just that when you read that and then you see that, you're like, what?
What has happened to our surfer?
Yeah.
What happened to my mind while I was reading this?
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Now, do you have like a favorite panel or page of artwork that like to you just this was my, I mean, I'm sure with Natasha it has something to do with the Punisher. But what do y'all think? What about you, Natasha? Let's go ahead and go with you.
No, honestly, for me, one of the like good scenes or whatever is honestly when she shows up.
Yeah.
And that when she's there and she's in a dress and stuff, and you think it's a wedding dress, you think like, oh, is Thanos gonna marry Death? Like, what's happening there? Like that is, and it's just beautiful. And then you got the other one too, but like I love that. Like I would frame that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the character design that they did with her. That was, I love it.
My first thought, of course, was cosplay. Comfy cosplay.
I mean,
what about you guys? What was your?
I think in this one, this like spread of them two like going into battle, Galactus and Cosmic Ghost Rider, because like as a huge Surfer fan, Galactus is this like character who has done all these things, and then you read all these different stories about his past, present, future, and like to see this, and then Galen or whatever, Galen, and then to see that, and then later you see him sitting in that skull, spoiler, but just to see that movement is insane, and that was awesome for me.
I mean the fact that Galactus, the fact that Thanos took out all these characters is insane. Spoiler panel, guys, but this is this is one I really love. Just smoke.
Yeah.
You loved him for about 4 issues,
right?
Yeah.
Bye.
Just the might within Norrin.
Yeah.
Right there. It was just like
wielding like a power cosmic fueled Mjolnir.
Yeah. Nuts. Absolute nuts.
Great. Now, one question I have for y'all is, and I mean it's very obvious at the end, like he goes back and says like, I'm not going to become you, essentially. But it's Thanos. Do you think he still went on to like kill everyone? Like what do you think he did? Yeah, of course he's like, I'm not whatever death, but what do you think he did when he went back?
I mean, you're not going to stop this guy from killing everyone, and maybe
suddenly having a redemption or something.
If his motivation isn't the love of death, then perhaps it's just simply his love of the act of killing. His love of proving to himself that he can do all of these things and that his power is infinite. And
I mean, Thanos in the comic book is like, I do what I want and I like that. Thanos in the movie is like, I'm doing this because it ultimately is better for the universe as a whole.
And will get me back to my farm.
Exactly. And I mean, what happened here at the end was pretty much he was like, I'm not going to simp for death like you did. And then he gets erased out of time. So young Thanos did like change his trajectory so that he did not become this guy. Because I mean, I think ultimately what he probably realized was like, I do this for me, not for her or them.
He does that stuff because he wants to prove he's right.
Right.
In his mind.
Where the other one is just the old Thanos from the story is just trying to basically the one from Gauntlet. He's just trying to kill everything for his love,
Yeah.
Which is death.
But it's just interesting to see this character that is like just pure evil, right? Like
Comic Thanos is pure evil. MCU Thanos is like, we kind of get what you're doing.
He's grouchy old man saying, get off my lawn.
Now, I just kind of want to get like a complete rundown of like, now that you've read this and you've gone through it, and what has this made you think about Thanos, the character, and kind of like his role in the Marvel universe after all of this?
I mean, simply capable of ruling it all if he wanted to. And then there's a thing where sometimes he's like, I could do this, but I won't. He threatens this a passive aggressiveness that he has. But I think ultimately he's who's above him. Who can Infinity War or Infinity Warps, all that stuff. I remember is Thanos back? Yeah, he's back. But in a moment Gamora cut his head off and he was dead for a while. Yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of things that he's gone through since this story happened. This story's cool because it's at the end of whatever he's gone through, so to say.
But he's kind of like this cosmic architect of he's savagery.
If he decides to go crazy, everybody better watch out. And if he's still killing, we're happy about that. That's good. That means he's not trying to destroy everything.
Yeah. Him saying, "Who is your king?" He's kind of like, "Who's your daddy?" Like,
yeah, he's he's a force to really be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Anytime he decides to act up.
Yeah. And although he's pure evil, sometimes he is just like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna build a scarecrow and kind of chill out. You know,
I'm gonna eat this fruit.
Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna sit and watch the sunset.
Now, what did you think, Natasha, about after reading this? Like, what did you think about Thanos? Like, how did it change how you thought about Thanos at all?
I mean, not really. He's kind of not nice person. So that's always kind of been known. Definitely seeing the more gritty side of him is interesting. And I think overall the shock for me was the old man having to call, I mean, I get it. Like the only person that can kill Thanos is Thanos. But like the initial, like even Thanos was like, kings don't beg, kings don't, ask for help, like all that kind of stuff. So like, I don't know, that part was kind of interesting to me. I didn't see that side of Thanos before.
Are you going to be reading more of these?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
It starts at issue 13, so there's at least issues before this too that are awesome. I think I was reading all of those.
And I believe he has a series that's out right now, as well as he's not always, but he's pretty regularly involved in whatever cosmic event is lined up or being planned,
Yeah. What was Thanos Annihilation? That was something else we read.
Annihilation was the Annihilus wave situation that brought the Guardians of the Galaxy together in that like 2006 or 7 time where they had the cool.
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
He's a steel trap of information. I can't get him going. It's amazing.
It can.
I'm totally impressed. Yeah, I'm definitely impressed.
Now, my question before we get out of here is, if someone like this, what would you suggest to them? I'm going to start with Natasha. Like, what comics would you recommend if someone really liked Thanos?
So I'm going with the recommendation I actually got from Johnny, and that's to read the Cosmic Ghost Rider, Baby Thanos, that continuation. Kind of getting to see more of Ghost Rider in this light and his story, and then, just diving deeper into this whole timeline. Or sort of the timeline.
Yeah, no, there's so much. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Baby
Thanos must die. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Oh, that poor little prune baby Thanos. I know how everyone is like, babies are all cute, and then I saw baby Thanos, I was like, no.
That's not true. I'm a mom, and I can tell you it's not true.
To find their face.
Not my kids. My kids are amazing, but there's some other people.
You're adorable. All right, now this is when I'm going to tell everyone watching that they should grab a pencil and a piece of paper, and I'm going to let the guys tell us what they would recommend as far as if you like Thanos wins, where should you go, what should you do? Let us know.
Yeah, I definitely think you should get into the Silver Surfer Black by Donny Cates and trad more stuff. Get that oversized edition if you can, the Marvel Treasury edition. That's insane. It's so beautiful. And that really dives deep into, and I think it even
why he's the Black
leads right
Surfer.
into this or something like that. Yeah, exactly.
That one, yep.
And it also ties in with the King in Black stuff. Yeah, and it starts in his hand. Oh my gosh, it's so insane. I would definitely say go there. And I mean, I hope that's not what you're going to say too. It would be sick.
Yeah. Well, I was going to recommend something like Infinity, which is where you see him with it introduces a new character that's part of his life, but it also shows like the Black Order, which are the characters that you see in the Infinity War. So Infinity's a cool newer. I think Jonathan Hickman wrote that one. That's a cool newer just story arc of Thanos trying to take some stuff over. And then just like if you haven't read Infinity Gauntlet, that's the story you have to read.
Gotta do it.
Easy. You can buy that trade at any comic store. You could quickly order it from your previews here. That's what you need to read because that's where they pulled a lot of the initial inspiration for what you've seen in the MCU. And it's also one of the most, classic. It's the story that really put him on the map. I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
All the layers to that.
Yeah, that one's easy, you know, like that's where you got to start for him. If you don't want to buy like an epic collection that has, you know, his Iron Man, he first appears in Iron Man, so it starts there.
Yeah,
and he doesn't have the same cook that he's now whipping with, you know. So, yeah, Infinity Gauntlet, hands down.
Oh my God. Okay. I just have like this long list now. And y'all are already kind of doing my job for me, because this is my reminder to everyone to pick up Thanos Wins at your friendly local comic shop. And to find your local comic shop, you want to head on over to comicshoplocator.com, and that's where you can find one. So now before we head out of here, I want to see if our guests have anything they'd like to tell us that they've got going on upcoming. Anything that you'd like to plug. We'll start with Natasha.
Okay, so for me, you can find all of my stuff at cannondollx.com, and all the socials is cannondollx, cannondollx. You can Google it, you can find me. But April 13th, you can see me in person playing with my roller derby league, Patuxent Roller Derby, and we're having our home season opener game, and it's the Kraken Skulls, which is what I'm on, versus the Salty Beaches. And it's going to be epic at Skateland in Dundalk, and I can't wait. It's my first game with this new league, so they're a great group of people, and I'm so excited to skate with them. So it's patuxentrollerderby.com to get tickets.
Nice.
Yeah, because if y'all didn't know, she is also a badass.
I have been playing roller derby for 18 plus years.
Damn, that's
fire.
fire.
So don't mess with Natasha.
No.
All right, what about you guys? Where can people find you, and what have you got going on?
Yeah, you can find me at Cosmic Lion or Cosmic Lion Productions on any socials, cosmiclionproductions.com. I'm a comic book publisher as well. And I've got a whole new line of new books. I've got about 15 books out right now. Half the Crown is a new one. It's a manga. We got Frankie Boy Monster, the story of a boy Frankenstein. We got Wait, It Gets Worse, a collection of short stories. And Gray Matter Drip, The Art of Chris Anderson, is some of the many books that you can pick up from cosmiclionproductions.com. And hopefully someday soon at your local comic book shop.
Hey.
Look at that. I got a bunch of songs coming out soon enough. Can I tell you when?
Yes.
I don't know, but there's some new stuff coming out next week. And
but anywhere you listen to music, Spotify, Apple Music,
MANUS. Yeah. That's my real name. My mom and dad gave me that name. You put Spotify, Apple, you can pull up. I got a ton of songs that you can listen to there. I got songs all over TV shows, so maybe you've heard them before. And yeah, MANUSDUNBAR. Follow me at that. Those are my socials. Mostly just Instagram, but you know, we're doing as best we can.
That's awesome. I gotta take a listen to those songs.
You'll dig it.
Please. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all for coming and being on the show. It was good to see you again, Natasha. Always love getting to talk with you. And
I know. I love seeing you too.
Kicking ass out there. And thanks for joining me, you guys. Like, honestly, as someone in the comments posted, did they just turn me into like a superhero comic fan? I think y'all kind of did, because now I want to read the rest of these. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope we are able to have you guys on again.
Rob, we'd love to be back.
Thanks, guys. And now, if you have a graphic novel that you'd like us to talk about, leave a comment below, and your choice could be picked for a future episode. And this is also your reminder to follow us at Previews World and Free Comic Book Day on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And before we go out, I just want to say goodbye, and heroes are a dime a dozen, but comic fans are priceless, and we'll see you next time. Do you have a suggestion for a graphic novel that you'd like to see discussed on the panel? Leave us a comment, and your choice could be picked for a future episode.